Hello, welcome back to Carla Astrology. Um, Today I am going to do a VR to Ladyknight of Avalon's new tag called How Do You Tarot? There are 10 questions, so let's dig right in. Number one is what do you like about tarot? What I really love about tarot is the psychological aspects of it. Like before I actually came to tarot, I looked at it like kind of like extremely mystical and kind of like there was a secret aspect of it that I didn't understand, obviously, and so I had a little bit of I'm pretty sure they were misconceptions of it. So now realizing that it's like archetyping, and I find that extremely helpful in recognizing, especially like my own behavior, because that is it's like I thought whenever I'm going to read for all these people, it's going to be cool. And no, I've read more for myself than anybody, and than I've read for anybody else. Um, and it's great to read for other people, but I mean the daily, even if it's one or two cards, is like just extremely beneficial. And then again, yeah, to help other people too with the psychological aspect of it. Shadow work is amazing. And I don't mean using tarot for shadow work. It's kind of like a guide. Once you have done shadow work, then it's like using the tarot to guide you through the process. Um, Besides many other tools that could be used for that, that is one that I find extremely helpful. So I guess that kind of goes along with question two is what do you use it for? I use it for that. And I do, like year ahead spreads where I never, when I first started doing tarot, that kind of overwhelmed me doing a year ahead spread. But now I find myself, I did one this last, it was in October. So, I did a year ahead spread, and it's been amazing because I can already look back at November and see that the tarot was right on the money. um, what is your go-to workhorse deck? This is question number 3. The one you can read with no matter what, and why? And everybody, I think, that watches my channel knows that I prefer the Light Seers. It's like my soul deck. And that was just one of those times going through. I did get this off Amazon. So it's the mass market. I just, it kept calling me. Most of my tarot decks do call me. At least the ones that I use more than anything are the ones that have called me. And that one did, and I just had to have it. So, and with me being so fairly new, when someone talks about, like, I think this was a Kickstarter. See, I wasn't really involved with tarot when this was Kickstarter, or at least I really didn't know that much about. I didn't even know about Kickstarter as a whole. I found out about Kickstarter because of tarot, and I know that there's so much stuff on there. I was like, what is that? I wish I'd have known that, like back when my band was putting out a CD, I mean, anyway, so, and it is the reason I read with it so well is just because of the simplicity of it. I have not mastered the many layers of tarot. I even, every now and again have to look at a guidebook to look at, the standard meanings, because sometimes I have a brain fart and I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, what did that mean? And I feel like, the more that I use tarot, the more I will remember and retain. But actually, Rhiannon showed this on hers. This is the on the coffee tag that she did. So this is from the Witchy Cauldron, and this has everything on it that you would need. Keywords in reverse, keywords upright. It's got the astrological association, whether it's a yes or no, and it has the chakra association. So I mean, these are like, and I actually just read with them, you know, and it helps me to where like, you know, even like in placements, because that was honestly the biggest thing, is like when you're looking at a tarot spread, and in order for the actual placements to make sense, you need to know more than just one or two keywords. So that's been essential. But this is so easy to read just because of the pictures, you know, are simple. And just, I mean, I'm pretty sure most everybody has seen this. It's like a famous deck to me. You know, this, it doesn't have the book that the mass market, or not the mass market, that the Kickstarter or the original does, but it's still decent. These are the backs, and then the pictures are just very easy to read, and they're just so friendly. It's modern, you know. It's really, this is just a beautiful deck. And it speaks volumes. So, and I can use it for anything because it's gentle, but it's still to the point. It's my favorite deck. And you know what? I am, you know, in the beginning of this journey. I'm sure there'll be more. What is your, for you personally, most difficult deck to work with, and why? Honestly, I'm kind of surprised, you know, because I really do like, you know, darker kind of haunting like decks. And I put this on my wish list, just my Amazon wish list. And my daughter went through that to find me something for my birthday, my last birthday. And she got this for me. It is the Goetia. It still smells new. Anyway, it is the Tarot in Darkness, a deck by Fabio Lastrani, and it is the Goetia. So it is the 78. Is it 78? No, I don't. It's the Key of Solomon. So yeah, the 78 fallen, or demons, and it's got a key in here, and they are in, this is in the order of the Key of Solomon, the lesser key. So it has the demon association, and then of course the card association. But the reason it's so hard, I can't use it for tarot. I've tried, and I'm just going to study this. This is just something I'm going to study. And I do want to get the tarot of, I think it's called, it's also done by the same creator. I think it's probably called Tarot and Lightness, but it's just like this, but it's the light angels, or the, you know, the angels. But, you know, I've said before, I totally believe that, you know, the fallen and the are archangels, or whatever, the angels that are in heaven, are they're two halves of a whole. You know, I don't believe in any religious stigmata when it comes to angels. I just believe they're like interdimensional beings, and I believe that they can be, you know, responsible for light or dark. I believe that they have free will like you and I. So, and you know, I mean, that's as much as my beliefs are based on, as much as I know. So things can change, but I want to study this more, but I can't use it to read tarot. And that's why it's too difficult, too difficult. And there's other decks that like your pip decks that I find it a little bit hard to use because I am still depending on like to see either a keyword sometimes or like an image that is associated with like the RWS to give me an eye. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's what that means. And I have a couple decks that are kind of pippish in the minors, like the Supernatural. I got that one. And don't get me wrong, I love that series. But if you don't have the memory, like say my friend Maria from Ladyknight of Avalon, to remember who everybody is, you know, then it's kind of hard to, and again, it's just like pippish in the minors. Then it's hard to actually read without, I have to look at the book every time. So, you know, because I don't have the memory, everything as far as like standard meaning is kind of what I'm getting at. I can't just look at this and it doesn't trigger anything for me. So it's just, you know, I did use it with the Winchesters, like doing a reading for the Winchesters, but I looked at the book every time. So yeah, and I don't, it's just like I said, it doesn't, some do, like obviously, this is the star, and that's Jack, who is Lucifer's son. So I mean, to me that makes sense, but I also watched the show and he was one of my favorite characters. So in that aspect, it's awesome. But it's hard, I can't sit down and do a reading like for myself or for anyone else with it. Okay, so that was too long of an explanation. Okay, so moving on. Which deck do you want to study in depth but haven't gotten around to it yet? Okay, that is definitely the Golden Dawn. And the Thoth, because the Thoth I started and got sidetracked. So this one and that one. I haven't really decided which one. I might finish with the Thoth and then move on to this one. But regardless, I want to study the Golden Dawn itself. So whether I start with Thoth or this from that, I'm not sure. I don't really know. I might converse with Maria about that and get her opinion because she has gone through the Golden Dawn material. What is your preferred deck style and has it changed over time? I like Maria. Prefer that comic book like art, animation type art. So like this is one of the decks that called to me. This is the Wizard Tarot. Of course, I put that border on it. And I like that. It looks like it would be in a comic book. You know, it just appeals to me. I'm drawn to it. And not just that, like the haunted house is awesome. And I do like hauntingly, you know, just like a mystical type. I don't know. I like anything that looks like that. I do like simple and abstract and all that. But I prefer like fantastic fantasy, magical, you know, stuff like that. I like fairies and all, you know. But the artwork style itself is like that. And has it changed over time? Well, you know, honestly, yeah, I'm not just looking for a pretty picture anymore. And in the beginning, I definitely was. I was like, ooh, instead of actually looking at each card before I bought it, I was just like, oh, that's beautiful. And then, you know, there's times when you do that and it's like, well, okay, that doesn't really help me, you know, until I am able to if I could sit down and do a professional reading, if I get to that point, then I don't think it would matter so much what's in the card. But while I'm learning, I want the different layers. I want that now. So I guess in a way that's changed. I would take a deck that isn't as, in my opinion, beautifully created with all the magical art, and just has a lot of symbols on it. Like right now, I would actually take that over my preferred art style. So in that way, it's changed, but I think it's just because of the where I'm at in my journey with tarot. Which question would you never ask the tarot? And I agree with Maria on that one too. It's death. I don't want to know a physical death for myself or for anyone else. I have an idea for myself, but I didn't get that from tarot. And I didn't get it from my lifeline either. There's something that the gypsies believed in, and that was these racettes on your wrist. Each one symbolizes 75 years. And, you can't see mine perfectly because of the lighting, but I have 3 that are very well easy to see. And this is my hand of potential. This is my left hand. And on my line of what I've done with that potential, I have 2 that are very easy to see. But there's also a sister line on my second one. So that tells me that I've not taken the potential that I had and used it very well. But racettes are not set in stone either. So, number 8, when you read for yourself, what do you look for? What kinds of questions do you ask? Mainly like, what's going on with that? Like, I would say, get up. I had a dream, and what was that dream trying to tell me? Something like that. And I normally, I'll just ask for one card, or something happened at work or with the kids, and a card will come flying out. And or it's a 3-card reading, but very rarely do I get spreads out unless I'm making time for that. If I'm making time for a spread, then I love doing those. Okay, so whatever questions on the spread, because I feel like the people that take the time to create these, I've not made one for myself, are just brilliant, and I love them, and I'm just, I just love doing spreads, honestly. But I honestly will pick it up more times out of none once a day and just ask it because I've got a question about something from a dream or an interaction I had with somebody. So, and it's usually just, if it throws me out a card, I might, and I do ask Oracle, like maybe to start the day or maybe at the end of the day or something like that. Just for a general message, Number 8, I'm sorry, number 9. After all the things you've learned about the tarot so far, is there something else about tarot you want to study, research, and learn? Yes, absolutely. That is the Kabbalah, or however you pronounce that correctly. I want to learn about that in the association with tarot. I feel like that is like, everything keeps pointing to that. I'm reading about magic. It's pointing to that. Everything is pointing to that. So it's like, okay, universe, that's what you want. I need to learn that. So I'm going to learn that. And I think it goes along with the Golden Dawn. And I've actually downloaded some books to help me with that. What advice would you give someone who's just starting to learn tarot? Well, in the very beginning, I fooled myself with thinking I was just going to dive into this deck. And I totally ignored, the right way to do it, because I thought, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be easy. There's only 78 cards. Come on. Whoa. Boy, I fooled myself big time. So, like, I started with like really digging in deep with the spirit keepers. And it still smells good. I'm sorry, I have to smell it. So these are the backs. It's got a pretty gilding on it. And these, God, these cards are just magnificent. But if you, I mean, can you see? Look at that. And it comes with a book of maps, or it doesn't come with a book. I got the book of maps. It's on my shelf right now. But it's, you know, it's like this thick. And she goes into high detail about every single card. So, and it's, there's so much symbolism, and she combines all these different cultures. She puts magical talismans in them. I mean, there's so much going on. These cards are extremely busy, but they are, you know, I'm not disappointed that I studied these, but because there was so much, I've only retained maybe half of it. And so that's another, this is also, I guess, would go along with what's a little bit hard to read without getting the book of maps out, because don't get me wrong, it's, oh, it tells you so much, you know, more than you could even ask. I mean, there's just a lot of information in these, and I do love these cards. I mean, they are phenomenal. Anyway, so I would suggest, my advice would be to just start off with RWS and get some good books to help you learn as you go, you know. And I would suggest reading a lot and using the book, you know. This was my first deck that I ever received, and it was a gift from my sister, because she was like, come on, let's do tarot. I was like, all right. And then I didn't really get around to it for probably a good year after she bought me these. But these are really pretty. These are the backs. This is it Cyro or Cairo or Marchetti? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, doing him justice. But this was my first deck. And it's, and like I said, she gifted it to me. She gifted me a bunch. I think I said that in one of my other videos. But yeah, this came with a nice guidebook. And like I said, I just never, I just didn't get into tarot. I had every good intention of getting into it. I just, I don't know what I was waiting for. I don't. But, so my advice is to just, you know, I would suggest maybe getting these, because it is RWS. Or if you want to pick a different system or whatever, but just stick to that until you got, because I muddled my brain. Maybe somebody else might not have that issue, but I definitely did. And I feel like if I would have just started with RWS and took my time, it would have worked better for me, you know, because I'm a busy person. I always I have a lot going on every day. And so when I sit down and I make time for myself, it needs to be simple and not a whole bunch of, or I'm just like, you know, what's my name again? Anyway. So that's it. And this was really good questions, because I find a lot of people every day just starting tarot, you know, so stuff like this is great. You know, like I have a niece that just like probably 1 or 2 years ago, not long after I started getting into it, and she's, you know, 17, I think. She's getting into it, and she probably blows me away now. So yeah, this is brilliant, and thank you, Maria, for creating this. I will post the link to that video in the description box, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I love you very much.